Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Wild Man Creations. If this is your first time joining me, my name is Jay. Tonight we're going to be making some cabbage, potato, and ham soup. This is one of the soups that I like to eat. I'm not a real big soup person. I've told you all that before. There's a few of them that I like. You know, the minestrone's one. This is one. I love clam chowder. Um, I don't know. There's a couple of other ones. I'm just not a big soup person, but this one I really like. And basically, what we're going to do is we're going to shred up a head of cabbage or thereabouts. We're going to want 4 cups of shredded cabbage. I'm going to dice up three potatoes, 2/4 inch die. Same thing with the carrots. We're going to chop 1 bunch of scallions. It doesn't call for garlic, but you know me, I got to put garlic in everything. So if there's no garlic for the recipe, you got to put a minimum of 2. That's just the way it is. A teaspoon of dill. I don't have any fresh, so I'm going to use some of this. Half a teaspoon of pepper. 3 tablespoons of flour. It calls for 13 3/4 ounces or 1 can of chicken stock. I don't have 1 can, so we're going to make do with what we got. I do have some more if this isn't enough, but I think it is. I think it's probably closer to a cup. 2 cups, I'm sorry. I think there's closer to 2 cups in here. And then we're going to have 2 cups of water. Anyway, I will leave the recipe in the description box. And I think that's it. Let me get all this stuff diced up. You guys know how to do this. You don't need to watch me. The ham, too. It called for a 1/4 pound of ham. Well, the package I picked up is actually a 1/2 pound, which I think I'm just going to go ahead and throw the whole thing in there because half of that is not much. I'm going to throw the whole thing in there just because. So anyway, if you guys would sit tight with me, we'll be back here in a minute. Let me get all this cut up, and then we'll go over to the stove and start assembling everything. So sit tight. Hey, guys, real quick. I'm here cutting my potatoes. I just got thinking, to keep your potatoes from turning brown, I do this. After I get them peeled, I'll put them in a bowl of water so they don't turn brown while I'm trying to dice up my other ones. And then after I've diced them, then I'll put them back in that water while I'm dicing the other ones. And then at the end, then I'll just drain them in a colander. That way they don't, however long it takes, they don't turn brown. So just kind of a tip for you. So basically what I do is and you can do this. You can keep them in that water for close to 24 hours. I wouldn't do it much over that because then you're getting all the starch out of there and they start getting brown or soft. But like if you wanted to cut up things ahead of time for the next morning, or say you're going on a camping trip and you wanted to have fried potatoes and onions, you could do all this at home, get all your stuff cut up, put them in a container of water, as long as you're not going to be like over 24 hours, like I said. But just a tip for you to keep it from turning brown. So there you go. Sit tight. Okay, I'm back. And I have 4 tablespoons, or what amounts to a 1/2 stick of butter. We're going to melt that. Turn the fire down a little bit. We don't want to burn it. Don't want to burn it. My taters. See, they've been sitting for a little while. They're not brown. So anyway, it's kind of a pro tip for you. I've actually done that ahead of time just so I didn't, sling it everywhere. Taking them camping to make, fried potatoes and onions. Keep them in a bowl of water. That way they don't turn brown, and you've already saved yourself a massive amount of time. Plus all the dirt and stuff you get into at a campsite, if it's not exactly pristine. But anyway, we've got the butter melted. We're going to throw the carrots, the potatoes, in there. Turn the heat up just a tad. I'm actually going to throw the garlic in next. Like I said, the recipe doesn't call for this. This is just what I do. Just because I don't like to follow rules. The onions. Just kind of stir that all around. Real easy meal to make. It's hearty. Like I said, it's one of the few that I like. Kind of while we're doing this, let's say you're making a pot and you've got all of a sudden unexpected guests. You can do a couple of different things. You can, and this is one reason I keep these bouillon cubes. Make you a cup of chicken broth or two, add to it. It'll make it that much more. We always have flour tortillas and a can of biscuits on hand because we like to make wraps, or I'll make a breakfast taco in the morning with some scrambled eggs and some bacon or something. And I always try to keep a can of biscuits because I like to have those on the weekend. I use one whenever I go to the store. I'll buy another one. But you can pull off pieces of tortilla and put them there, which I've done. Are they ideal? No, they're not like regular dumplings, but they will work in a pinch. Same thing with the biscuits. They're not going to be like regular dumplings, but they're going to be close, and it'll help stretch that meal out. Something else you can do too. This is already close to a chowder. Typically chowders up on the East Coast, New England, up there and such, they've got they use seafood, clams, scallops, lobster, crab, whatever. Southwest type of chowder usually has Latin spices and corn, and they will substitute seafood for, chicken, ham, chorizo, bacon, such as that. So, I've always got a can of corn in the cabinet. If I eat a can of corn, the next time I go to the store, I'll buy another one. So I've always got corn on. I've always got green beans on hand. Not that you would put those in there, but to make a chowder, it's usually creamy. Say you don't have heavy whipping cream on hand. This is something else I keep on hand. Evaporated milk, and don't get it confused with sweetened condensed milk. I like to use this making mashed potatoes. It makes them a lot more creamy, and to me, it gives it a better flavor. You would just use it like you would milk. Adversely, I always have powdered milk. I've been in a bind before. We don't have any milk, and I don't have time to run to the store, even though it's 5 minutes away. 5 minutes over there, 5 minutes back. You got to wait in line. Before you know it, you've been over there 30, 45 minutes. When I can make, a pitcher of powdered milk, which, it's low fat, but it still works in a bind. I've actually used that to make milk gravy. So what I'm saying is, if you wanted to go the chowder route, open up a can of corn, drain it, put your corn in, add some evaporated milk if you don't have heavy cream. I mean, the sky's the limit. Think outside the box. I do this on a lot of stuff. You know, I'll get in a bind and I'll think I had chicken broth and I don't have any. Well, I don't know how many times I've made gravy with this. I don't know how many times I've made gravy with either evaporated milk or powdered milk. It works. It's not exactly the same, but it works. What I'm saying is don't be afraid to try stuff, you know. And if you're not sure how it's going to work out, just make it at home when when you have the time to experiment. That way you know, and you're not caught off guard at the last second. I've made dumplings by hand before. They do take a little while, you know. They take longer than just pulling out a can of biscuits. Now I wouldn't use the whole can, but I would use 3 or 4 biscuits. Just pull off chunks, or you could lay them down and cut them with a knife. Cut little chunks like that. Same thing with the tortillas. Just peel off pieces. You wouldn't want to use more than maybe 2 or 3 tortillas. Just depending on how much how full your pot is and how thick it ends up being. Like I said, you could always use more, put more stock in, or a little more water to make it go just that much further. Three tablespoons of flour. And you don't want to burn that. So I would go ahead and not quite 2 cups of broth. Give it a little stir. Keep the bottom from burning. And to me, this is one of those dishes that, to me, it's better the next day. Two cups of water. Get my cheat sheet out here. Okay, we're going to put in our dill. Our pepper. Give it a stir. Oh, smells good. Okay, this is half a head of cabbage. And that's going to wilt and cook down, so I'm going to put the whole thing in there. Again, if you had a little more leftover cabbage, which I have half a head over there, that I could still shred up if I needed to make it stretch out. Then you want to bring it to a boil. Oh man. The pepper got to me. Dummy. All right, I'm gonna cover this, let it come to a boil, then I'm gonna reduce the heat and let it go for about 20 minutes or so. I'll bring you back when it's ready. Basically what you wanna do is wait to put the ham in right before you serve it. The ham's already cooked, it doesn't need to be cooked anymore. To me, it just keeps it from getting really, really tough. So we'll wait on that. So you guys would sit tight. I'll bring you back when this is done. Like I said, we're gonna bring it up to a boil and then we're gonna turn it down and let it set for about 20 minutes. So probably another 30, 45 minutes. We'll see you. Sit tight. Okay, I'm back. This is what she looks like. Now, I didn't salt this, and I've explained why I don't do that. I did put some ham in there, and it's going to be a little bit salty, but it may need to have a little bit of salt. Get a little bit of everything: potato, carrots, cabbage, ham. Oh boy, that's hot. Yeah, I can stand to use a little salt. I don't know, maybe a teaspoon or so. Just don't want to give it too much. Like I said, the ham's got some in it. And I will douse mine a little bit. Doesn't need much. Boy, that's hot. Okay, I'm gonna have to filibuster. I appreciate you guys spending the night or the afternoon with me. If you would try it, let me know what you think. It's, like I said, it's one of my favorite. Pretty hearty. You got a lot of flavor to it. And like I explained earlier, I mean, if you've got to stretch it into something else, it's not hard to do. Just use your imagination. That's better. Anyway, cabbage, potato, and ham soup. It's good for what ails you. Anyway, y'all have a good evening. I appreciate it again. You would hit the like and subscribe button. Tell your friends. Share it. Doesn't cost you anything. It helps the channel out. So I've got an idea of something else I'm going to do next, and I'm excited to try it with you. So if you guys would keep watching, I appreciate it. Talk to you later.